Today, we're diving into a problem that, let's be honest, so many of us face, just getting stuck in our own heads. We're going to break down the psychology of overthinking and map out a clear path to getting your mental peace back. Let's jump in.
So let's start with a little check-in. Do you ever find your mind getting totally snagged on tiny, minor details, blowing them up into something huge?
Or how about this one? Do you find yourself hitting rewind on conversations, just analyzing every single word you said? Or maybe what you wish you'd said?
And finally, have you ever just felt completely drained at the end of the day, even though you didn't really do anything physical? That mental exhaustion is a real thing. If you said yes to any of these, you are in exactly the right place.
If you found yourself nodding along, you've definitely experienced overthinking. It's that moment our mind gets stuck on a loop, just going over and over the same thoughts. It's a habit that quietly sucks our energy and steals our peace. So, in this explainer, we're going to unpack why it happens and, more importantly, how to actually stop it.
First up, we really need to understand the engine driving this whole thing. Why do our brains get caught in these loops to begin with? It's probably not what you think.
You know, a lot of us figure overthinking is just a side effect of being smart or analytical, but psychology points to a completely different answer. It suggests overthinking isn't really about how smart you are, it's a protective mechanism that's actually driven by fear.
So what kind of fear are we talking about here? Well, it usually boils down to these three big ones. The fear of messing up, the fear of what other people are going to think of us, and that deep down fear of losing control of a situation. When our mind feels unsafe, it just kicks into overdrive.
This sentence right here, it perfectly captures our brain's misguided logic. It's working under this assumption that if it just analyzes every single possible outcome, it can keep us safe from harm. The brain thinks more thinking equals more safety, but that's the very trap that keeps us spinning.
And just look at this ratio. It really shows how that protective instinct can go totally haywire. For every single real problem we have to deal with, the overthinking mind can cook up 100 imaginary ones. More thinking doesn't lead to better answers. It just leads to more problems.
So what's the actual damage from all this mental churn? It's definitely not harmless. Overthinking takes a huge toll on our lives and just our general sense of well-being.
See, the biggest problem is that overthinking almost never happens in the present moment. It yanks us back to the past to create regret, or it shoves us into the future to create anxiety and fear. It's like a time machine that just won't let us be where we actually are.
And this is the fundamental cost. Real peace, that feeling of calm, can only be found right here, right now. By constantly pulling us away from that, overthinking literally disconnects us from our own lives. This pattern also just eats away at our self-trust. I mean, whenever a little choice becomes this huge debate in your head, you start to doubt your ability to make any decision at all. Remember, confidence isn't built by thinking, it's built by doing. And overthinking completely paralyzes action.
This is so true, especially for really intelligent people. The ability to see a dozen possibilities is a gift, for sure. But without control, that gift turns into a heavy burden that just creates stress and analysis paralysis. And the costs aren't just in your head. Chronic overthinking takes a real physical toll. It messes with our sleep, it fuels stress and anxiety, and it all leads back to that deep mental exhaustion we talked about at the very beginning. Okay, so that's the problem. But the good news is we're not helpless here. Let's switch gears and talk about the toolkit, the practical, real steps you can take to finally break free from this cycle. Here are 5 simple but really powerful strategies you can start using today. First, get those thoughts out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Second, cut down on decision fatigue by limiting your choices. Third, just break the cycle by taking one tiny action. Fourth, anchor yourself in the present moment by focusing on your breath. And finally, this is the big one. Practice accepting that you can't control everything. This quote really gets to the heart of the solution. The goal isn't to think your way to some perfect answer. The goal is to just take a step forward, even if you don't have all the information. It's all about progress, not perfection. Ultimately, breaking this overthinking habit isn't about finding some new, clever way to think. It's about a much deeper shift in your entire mindset. And this right here is the final, most important point.
The trap is believing that the path to peace is through more thinking, more analysis. But the true path is learning to trust yourself, to trust your gut, and to trust your ability to handle whatever comes next without needing to have it all figured out.
So let's end with a challenge, a way for you to put this into action right now. Out of all those repetitive thoughts spinning around in your head, what is just one that you can decide to let go of right now, today? Your peace of mind is absolutely worth it.